Oh, hi. Our producer was making me laugh. Anyway, hi. My name is Anya, and I am going to be your storyteller for today, running a game of Candela Obscura. So a little bit. My pronouns are she, her. Um, you can find me everywhere, Lelion cosplay. Krifu, go.
Ah, hello. I am Krufu Bernal. My pronouns are he, him. Tonight I am playing Shay the occultist, she, her. And yeah, she learned magic through correspondence school, and we'll see how that goes.
Perfect. Sam, you're next.
Hello, my name is Sam. My pronouns are he, him. I am delighted to be jumping into Candela Obscura. I will be playing as Edward Steele this evening. Pronouns he, him. I'm a detective. If you imagine, I kind of get the feel of like Spider-Man noir, a large leather coat with a big
Ooh.
puffed collar,
Mhm.
but face uncovered. Does have a beard, much like me.
Perfect. And then Mikal.
Hello, I'm Michał Król, he, him, and today I will be playing the great Casimir, who is a magician, the most stereotypical one you can imagine. Large top hat, cape, very posh looking, and a wannabe stage performer.
Perfect. Now, you all are a part, before we get into the game itself proper, you all are a part of the Circle of Pythagoras, as you are three. And before we get into the game, we need you to answer a circle question, something about what connects the three of you. So the question that I chose is, to varying degrees, you all have known one another for a long time, but your circle was recently formed. Why were you brought together, and how do you feel about it? Especially considering the relationship connection I know. I'm very curious.
Hmm.
What do you think?
Thrust together.
Mm-hmm.
Not particularly willingly.
I would say so as well, but like connected by a rivalry. My
Rivalry.
rivalry. Thank you. My tongue is twisting. Search for the arcane, trying to know as much as possible about it, trying to
Mm-hmm.
outdo one another in the search.
I wonder if, because we've discussed Pythagoras was the name of our light keeper.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for the vocab, the Candela
Yes.
specific vocab. Pythagoras was the name they went by, and I wonder, we were their students, but I wonder if this circle came together out of some sort of necessity. Maybe Pythagoras disappeared mysteriously, or was even murdered, if we want to be extra
Ooh.
dramatic.
I feel like murder is most likely to pique my interest and what would
Mm-hmm.
keep me interested. As I know that the other members of this circle can be a little obtuse, so it keeps me going.
Oh, we're starting already.
I'm just trying to get the Pythagorean like
Mm.
Oh,
vocab in there as well.
oh my God.
I'm bringing maths into it. I'm a science communicator.
Hey, I'm here for it. So perfect. I love this as the establishment of your circle, especially with what I've written today. So, the one other thing for our viewers to know, you already know this, but for our viewers to know, you as a circle have a circle ability called stamina training, which means that there are three gilded dice that anyone can use at any point in this assignment. Once a gilded die is used, it goes away. It can't be used again. So there's three maximum for anyone to use. So just remember that. I might not be reminding you. So with that, I think that we're ready to get started. You all ready?
Mhm.
As
So,
ready as I'll be.
Okay. The sun rises on a calm morning in South Soffit, wires crisscrossing the streets haphazardly high overhead, occasionally letting out sparks of electrical current. The busy sounds of a new day of a city coming to life, with klaxons of cars blaring, the shouts of pedestrians, and early morning vendors hawking their wares to the servants who work in the mansions of the eaves looming high overhead. The crackling sizzle of energy is almost imperceptible against the hubbub, the only hint of the disruption to come in this calm morning. A moment later, an explosion from near the top of a building breaks through the everyday clatter, the boarded up windows of an upper story apartment shattering outward in a plume of red smoke. A car crashes into a light pole at the sudden noise, and pedestrians scatter, rushing to take shelter from the rain of glass and rubble that is sure to follow. But the impact never comes. In the span of a breath, the outward explosion folds in on itself, rapidly returning the windows and walls of the small apartment to their less than pristine state. The residents of South Soffit return to their days, collectively pretending that the explosion was nothing more than a figment of their imagination. Everyone, that is, except for the crumpled figure of a body on the floor of the apartment, the shattered remains of a small glowing statue in his outstretched hand, pulsing with a sickly red energy. Now, we find ourselves at the Serpent's Lounge in the Red Lantern, the opulent space featuring ornate red lamps that cast a warm glow throughout the space. The atmosphere is filled with the sultry notes of jazz music, even at this early hour. As we cut to a booth in the far corner of the room, its red velvet curtains pulled back to reveal three figures tucking into their breakfast and poring over a neatly penned letter addressed to the Circle of Pythagoras. First of all, if you could please describe for us what your characters look like and a little bit about them in this not quite early morning.
Wants to start?
Whoever wants to start.
Edward can go first. So yeah, as alluded to, never without this long leather coat. Trying to just stay a little bit hidden with the collar up. And I'm not a morning person. I am looking for that first cigarette of the day that will get me through. And just really, really annoyed to have to be up this early, especially surrounded by the people that I am.
Okay.
I can go next. Well, then,
Okay.
the great Casimir, as he is, the great showman, looks like sticks out like a sore thumb. The top hat, the cape, and everything. It looks like as he was taken just off a stage, not really fitting the whole scenario. Looking energetic for the morning, and he's always ready to grasp the day.
Mm-hmm. Well, and he doesn't necessarily stick out in the Red Lantern. It is kind of like a very opulent space. It's where there are some of the more affordable theaters here. There's also, just to mention it, there's also legal sex work in this city, and that is in the Red Lantern. There's also uh, gambling dens and things of that nature. So, really, the Great Casimir would certainly put on performances here. So,
The third and I guess final person in this booth is a woman with pale skin of indeterminate age. She is wearing, I think she's wearing like black satin pants.
oh,
That
a
like
rebel.
that flare as she walks, and then the top she's wearing like sort of a red, almost it's basically like a sleeveless blouse. That is covered. She covers up her shoulders at the very least with a cloak of like dark blue feathers. She absolutely like paints these sigils on her face every day. Although sometimes it's like maybe she just like quickly puts the coal over it again from the night before to like darken the intensity of it when she's in a hurry or yeah, whatever. It doesn't feel up to it.
Mm-hmm.
She is I think sipping tea, and like when she like refills, because I'm sure we've got like a kettle on the table.
Oh, absolutely.
When she refills it, she like also indiscriminately out of like a handbag pulls a little flask out and pours some just some mystery liquid into it.
It could just be for flavor. It could be alcohol. It could be scarlet, which is the illegal drug that people take here. That's a little bit hallucinogenic.
It might be scarlet. Who knows?
Yeah.
So early in the morning.
Well, she's microdosing.
Mm,
So just the small amounts, the let's say it's not a flask, it's a vial. Then
okay.
it's so diluted that she just it opens her third eye.
Mm,
No. And if I may, the reason
mhm.
why we sit in this booth so often is because we this is our booth, and she's taken the opportunity to place like a small statue in the corner of this booth, and occasionally we'll like look at it and like just sort of stroke it ominously.
I love that so much. And I feel like then the proprietor of this lounge, Elias Booth, just he questioned it the first time he saw it. But then after that, just kind of shrugged and let you do what you want.
Of course, darling. It only serves to improve the decor.
Hmm. So you say,
So I know.
right. So you all are sitting here. You have your breakfast, whatever that may be, and this letter that has been addressed to the three of you. Now, who picks it up to read it? The Great Casimir? Okay. So that means that you are going to be the one reading this aloud because I did create the letter. I chose a font that hopefully is perfectly legible, but you tell me.
Let me see. Oh, I need to...
It is in the Discord
Mhm.
chat.
Oh, the great Casimir slightly reluctantly picks up at the envelope, looks at it, and goes like, huh, "No better time than now. Let's get over this." Opens it up and starts reading.
Mhm.
To the Circle of Pythagoras. I have been temporarily placed in charge of your circle as an acting lightkeeper, as the assignment you are about to receive pertains to one that my own circle of Spade and Brush undertook several weeks ago. There are currently indisposed on another assignment in the Scarlet Wood. They come into contact with a painting of a woman in red effused with bleed that walked out of her portrait and killed multiple citizens in the varnish, one of whom was Amal Asadi, the owner of the Newfaire Portrait Gallery. While the source of the bleed was eliminated, it appears that it was not the only artifact we brought to the surface from Oldfire by scavengers. Go to the following address in South Soffit. There was a phenomena early this morning, and while it fortunately went largely unnoticed, it needs to be contained before the OUP get their hands on the artifact and make a muck of the scene. See if you can find a connection and contain it. Should you need anything, you can find me at the Reader's Creed. A Lightkeeper, Miria.
Minia.
Minia. Oh, who's this?
It's the only thing that I did in fancy font because it's a signature.
Okay.
Well,
So, do we know Lightkeeper Minia? Have we had experience with her in the Circle of Spade before?
So you've heard of her before. She's a relatively new lightkeeper in Newfaire, but she is very straight-laced is the best way to describe her. And I would say, I would say that Shay probably has been to the Reader's Creed before because it is one of those bookshops that is just filled to the brim, like practically to bursting, with rare books.
Hmm.
And she doesn't like it when people try to buy them.
Oh, Lightkeeper Minia. Normally, with such a novice Lightkeeper, I'd say we'd be able to have our way. But this one is an unobstructable force. We better do as she says.
Fine.
One's gotta do what one's gotta do.
So South Soffit was the location.
South
Yeah.
of
Yeah, South Soffit, which is not too far away from the Red Lantern. The important thing to know here is that while street level people can be like lower middle class, the higher up in the apartment buildings you get, the poorer folk are, and the less likely that there are stairs to get to the apartments. And looking at the dress that is in this letter, it's one of those.
Okay. Shall we head straight there? Does anyone need to pick anything up on the way?
Not really.
Out of character,
Mhm.
artifacts were brought up to the surface from Old Fire.
Old Fair.
Old Fair. Oh, and we're
Yeah.
in Newfaire.
And
Okay.
you're in Newfaire. Essentially, Newfaire was built on top of Old Fair. And so scavengers will go into Old Fair to gather things and try to sell them in Newfaire. But there are many things that come out of Old Fair that have contact with bleed. And this is the thing that Candela Obscura is trying to contain to protect the world from, essentially.
Okay. And OUP?
Is the Office of Unexplained Phenomena. They are
Oh.
essentially the bureaucrats. They are the ones who clean up and clear out, and they don't care if things are contained appropriately. They just want people to forget about what has happened.
No, I don't need to pick up anything, and you're right. We should get moving if we want to prevent these stuffy old bastards from OUP from taking up all of our well-earned goods.
Well, as always, I'll keep an eye out and let anyone know if we see anything untoward from any OUP. Well, we'll do our best, as always.
We've been in worst.
It's very true.
Yes, it's been an honor to work with. You are both very good at what you do, and she's is reluctant to say this. I'm glad we're working together. I could have worse partners.
You should maybe like take a little bit extra on your dose next time because that was a little too kind.
She'll like just put a couple more drops of the diluted scarlet into her tea before finishing it.
But regardless, I do feel like we work well together. I don't know why, but we do. So, sure.
The arcane magic and favors are on our side.
That too, I guess.
I almost spit out my tea there.
All right then. How do we get there?
You are able to, like, there's street addresses and things like that, but as you make your way over to South Soffit, you find the address and then look up and up and up. And this location is probably about 10 stories up, and half of those are by ladder.
Uh,
Oh no. And I brought my good cape today.
This leather doesn't like being bent as much.
Are the ladders on the inside or the outside of the building?
It's a mixture. So they are mostly attached, but there are some like narrow gaps and areas where there are hallways that have ladders and things like that. So there are several ways up.
So we know specifically that the place we need to visit is on the 10th floor.
It is on the 9th floor,
Ninth
not
floor.
the top.
Okay. Might as well be.
So, are we trying the front door or the ladders?
Does it? I think it's 6.5. It doesn't really.
I'm assuming there's no door person or reception for this building.
Oh no, absolutely not.
Well,
Before we make a move, can I take a look around to see if there's any OUP or similar people around?
Yeah, we're going to have our first roll test for the day. So I need you to roll a survey test for me.
Survey test. Okay, I get 2 dice for that one.
Okay.
A 1 and a 2.
Ooh, that is a failure with consequences.
Yeah. Great
And
start.
I'm going to throw it over to you. I don't always do this, but sometimes I like for my players to determine what is the consequence here of your failure. How, like, you look around and you don't see anyone clearly wearing like the gray suits of the OUP, no one like that, but what is the consequence here as you're looking around?
I think that because it's so early in the morning and I am still trying to be fully awake, that I'm moving my head around, and the kind of sweat of the early morning has caused the glasses on my face to slip off. And so I'll have like chips in the glasses going forward, so just obscuring vision ever so slightly.
Okay. Yeah, there's a crackle to the glasses now. Just on one side, but still it does make things a little bit more difficult to see.
Do we all
Shit.
see how you fumble with the glasses? Immediately start the day off.
Casimir, don't start. It's just the start. Things can only go up from here.
Shay just like angles her body away, so she's like pretending not like she's not looking in that direction. So the ladder's this way then, yes?
I guess so.
So you all are going to be able to climb up the ladders, but just for fun, to see how you do climbing up to the top, I would like for everyone to roll a move test for me.
Okay. So I'm just gonna
Just
roll.
to see how well you do.
So you start, if you have 1 dot in it, you roll 1 die.
1 die.
And
If you have 0 in it, you roll 2 and you take the lower number.
Disadvantage. Okay, got it.
Yep.
Okay, I'm going.
I have
for-
1 dot in the move.
Got 6.
Hey!
5.
I also
Hey.
got 6.
Amazing. Y'all have climbed ladders before. That's all fine. And
We're
on our
movers.
6s, there's full success, no complications. For our 5, it is a mixed success and it comes at a cost. So in this case, I feel like ladders are not so common for you. And you very clearly did not want to climb up these ladders to begin with.
I'm glad I wore pants today.
But you are just very, very winded when you get up to the 9th floor, and you are uncomfortably sweating as you do so, which does not fit the aesthetic at all.
No. She pulls out like a red pentagrammed handkerchief and just like starts dabbing.
You smear some of the coal a little bit on your forehead. You have no idea that that's happened.
No! I thought this was supposed to be a mixed success, not a critical
Mixed success.
failure.
You got all the way up.
Okay.
I
So-
imagine that Edward's at the top, just like smoking, waiting.
Oh yeah.
Casimir looks at Shay and goes like, "You got to lay off the microdosing, girl.
No, it works. I swear. It's just.
It doesn't look like it."
And she like sways a little bit. Anyway.
Grab on.
Yeah, you don't want to fall down those 9 stories. But you find yourselves at a rather rundown, ramshackle looking just front door, very basic, but there is tape over the door and it just says quarantine zone by order of the OUP.
Of course they got here first.
Well, that's not gonna stop us. You just like rip all the tape and try the door. Does it open?
It's not locked.
Initiative, I like it.
Shazam! And I open the door with panache.
Oh, is that a new spell you've learned, Casimir?
As you can
Quaint.
see, it opens all doors.
Oh my goodness. So, as you step into this apartment, it is very cramped and sparsely furnished because what it lacks in furniture, it makes up for in paintings and sketches filling this space from floor to ceiling with frames stacked like 10 deep and leaning against the walls. The space smells very strongly of turpentine and wet paint and is extremely poorly ventilated with just the few windows in the space. And in the center of the room, on a threadbare green rug, is a man, crumpled, fallen down, very clearly dead, holding what looks to be some kind of jade statue. But on closer look, you realize that this isn't just a man who died of like a heart attack or something like that. He appears to have been very rapidly mummified.
Huh.
Can
Oh, that's
I-
horrifying.
It looks. If the OUP didn't dare touch something like this, I can't imagine it must be completely dangerous.
Yes, it's not a good sign. Shall we leave this door open behind us? The smell in here is a lot.
Are there any windows in the room?
Mhm.
So,
There are a couple of rooms up near the front on the street side.
The cutscene, they were boarded up, right? Originally.
They were, yes.
And now?
They still are, but the windows swing open inwards. So it's more for, it seems, protection than anything else.
Okay.
Casimir still tries to get some air inside, so just opens the few windows to get it some drafting.
There is a little bit of wind that comes through, but all it does is make all of the sketches all around just rattle in the breeze, and that strong scent of turpentine gets even stronger.
Oh, poor.
I got a handkerchief just like cover my nose. Dreadful.
No, this hangover's bad enough without that. Yeah. I'm gonna cover my face as well.
Shay,
Hmm?
I think, has burnt enough like sages, like weird sage, essential oils and whatnot that her like sense of smell it has faded a long time ago. This jade statue. Can I would like to go over to it and sort of gently like sort of crouch down next to it.
Okay.
Keeping about keeping like a good, several hands distance from it,
Okay.
and try and examine it, or perhaps sense it with my
Mm-hmm.
magically attuned perception.
I would love for you to roll a sense test.
Okay, so I get 2 dots in this.
Okay.
Okay, rolling. A 3 and a 4.
So the 4 is a mixed success, but it comes at a cost.
And if I wanted to re-roll,
You could spend a resistance to re-roll, and you would, because that was a normal die roll, you would just re-roll those numbers, and you would take whatever the highest number was from the re-roll.
from the re-roll.
Yes.
No, I mean, she wants to, she was winded, and we are rivals here in the Circle of Pythagoras. So she
Mhm.
wants to be able to get the info on this thing. I'm gonna spend a drive.
Spending a resistance.
A resistance. So I
Yes.
spend my 1 resistance in intuition to
Okay.
re-roll this. 4. So it's a 3 and a
Okay.
4 again. Damn it.
Yep. So mark off that you've used up your resistance. And so you have a mixed success. And so as you are leaning over to look at this
She liked with a little like
shattered statue.
triangle as to like
Mhm.
center, so that because we're all about triangles.
So you're looking closer at it, trying to get the details. You see that it's an animal of some kind. There's a like pieces of it shattered off, but there's a very distinct dog or wolf-like face with an elongated snout. You find a couple of legs have been shattered to the ground, and as you're looking, getting closer to it, your hand accidentally brushes against one of the legs that had fallen to the ground. Please describe for us, Shay, what it feels like when you come in contact with bleed.
Ah. Ooh. So she has as a occultist is one of the tropes, I think they're called.
Something like that, yeah.
Or it's a specialty. The role is weird. The specialty is occultist. So it's one of the specialties that like have regular access to bleed, if I understand correctly.
Mm-hmm.
She, for her, it's hot, like so, like burning, like a burning knife, as it were. And it often hurts, but she's learned
Mm-hmm.
to lean into that sensation so that it begins to feel like sharp frost at a certain point, when it's so like dry ice is what it feels like.
Oh, okay. Well, that frozen heat sears into your hand as you feel that seeping under your skin, and you're going to take a mark of bleed from coming into contact with this.
Bleed mark 1. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so the way the marks work is that you fill it up. If you fill it up, I'm trying to remember exactly now if it's if the third or the fourth one, but you will take a scar if you get too many. And I
Okay.
will find that information on the break. Um, but
So
yes.
as she's sort of zooming in, the right hand, like the pinky,
Mhm.
slides against the jade wolf, which is what she's
A wolf or a dog, it's not quite clear to
like
you, but
canine.
canine of some kind, and your just like your pinky touches it.
And she like intakes through her teeth of breath as she pulls back, and you can see this line maybe that appears, not like a
Mhm.
burn or anything, but like the scar. Not so much a scar, but like what comes after there's a wound. The
Mm.
scab, the thin scab line appears instantly.
Mm.
Someone's careless today.
I just walk up to Shay and like take a draw on my cigarette and hand it to her. What'd you
She'll
find?
with her free hand, she'll hand it back. It's full of bleed, that's for certain. Did I pick up anything else?
Well, do you have the occultist ability to pick up anything else?
No. I took Ghost Blade
Okay,
and I took
then
Ritual.
then no.
Okay, cool. Well, it's full of bleed. It seems to be some sort of canine. Broken, perhaps when this man died. I'm guessing, an educated guess, that whether either this statue was a focus for him during a ritual, or the statue itself is what caused his appearance. Most likely, this mummification being a part of his death. Although why the OUP just left the body here in the statue as well, unless she looks up at you, Edward, as she hands the cigarette back. You don't think they plan on returning, do you?
I don't think they'd leave it like this forever. I'm sure at some point they'll be back. They might just not have had the right gear with them.
Like a hazmat suit. She like kind of holds the pinky a little bit.
So you said it was broken, in some way.
Yes.
Do we see
Yes,
any pieces?
Yes, the statue is broken. It's just like one that you can hold in your hand. The two front legs have been broken off, and the rest of it is still in his hand.
Casimir wants to just check, and he has a cane, a walking cane. Just like prods the artifact, seeing if that reacts in any way or like causes the bleed effect to happen. You can see he's very hesitant, but he's like,
You poke carefully, gingerly at the statue, and it falls to the ground from the man's hand. But nothing else.
Excuse me. So I started looking. Are there any kind of like pliers or some kind of instrument, like forceps, to maybe pick it up in a small box?
I would say it would make sense for him to have forceps. Yes, he would have them. And there are not the best quality of boxes. Like one of the things that you notice in this space is that the paintings themselves are probably the highest quality thing in this space. Anything else that's owned, any furniture that there is, any like teacups, things like that, everything is worn down, chipped, very clearly used for a very long time.
Well, it seems we don't need to wait for any special equipment. Let's just get over with it. So Casimir just grabs a box and just tries to like use pliers or whatever to just like put the whole artifact into a box.
Well, out of curiosity, does anyone want to say that they have a bleed containment vial on them? If not, that's fine. You
don't
can
think I
just
would.
have an open box with a statue that has bleed emitting from it.
How big is the vial? Would it fit the statue?
It is a thing that you can describe what it looks like and what it does. So what would Shay's bleed containment vial look like?
Yeah, I feel like she would definitely have one. It's listed here as an option under gear, so it makes sense.
Okay.
As you're kind of putting it into the box, she remembers, sort of jostling the effects of the bleed from her mind a little bit, and maybe the effects of the diluted scarlet as well, and reaches for her handbag, sort of black leather, more functional than visual. She pulls out a glass bowl,
Okay.
maybe, because it's got to be big enough for this statue, right? It's it looks crystalline the way it's sort of formed, and there are these like red veins of some sort of crystal or gem that kind of like cuts
Okay.
through it, and on top of it there is a lid that you could like pick up and put on.
Mm-hmm.
And as she pulls it out, maybe we can try and store it in this. We don't want any of OUP's dogs to pick up our scent.
Casimir for a moment looks perplexed, just like thinks, why do you have an aquarium in your bag?
It makes sense as to why you struggle with the ladder now, carrying that all the way up there.
Well, just in case. As she you cut flashback, and she's up the ladder. So she'll
I
take.
no, Casimir wanted to say, I have been pulling weird things from my sleeves during shows, but this is a very impressive trick.
Thank you. She breathes a little bit, and then remembers and takes the lid off the jar, and puts it on the ground for you to try and maneuver the statue into it. She's not touching it.
Well, I continue then putting it into the new container just to make it secure.
And this is not something that you need to roll for. You have forceps and you are picking it up and putting it in a container. That is not a difficult thing to do.
This. Oh, no, on you go.
She'll put the lid back on and then sort
Mhm.
of just leave the statue in the bowl on the ground.
Yeah, and that sensation in your hand, you realize has been pulsating this entire time. And it isn't until that lid is closed on it that it fades.
The body that sat there, the desiccated mummified body, is there anything about that we can tell that's off, other than it being a mummified body? Any identifiables?
I would say you're going to need to roll a focus test for me. This is analyze, inspect, remember. So
Okay.
roll a focus
Okay.
test for me.
That's a 5.
A 5, so a mixed success with, I forgot the word.
With consequences?
Not with consequences, comes at a cost.
No.
Okay. Too many C words. So a mixed success. So describe for us what Edward does as he's inspecting the body. Like, what is he focusing on here?
I would be taking out like a small little black notebook, and then kind of bending down, kind of shoulder level with the body, just to first of all look at the face, and then work my way across any clothing and see anything that I can notice. Not touching the body, but starting from the front and then moving around to the back.
Okay. So as you are scanning over this man's body, you can tell that, like, from your years as a detective, this man's suit has seen much better days. Like, he has worn it to the ground, but it once was very, very nice. And it fits him perfectly, like a suit made for someone, which is curious given his residence and how he's ended up. Another thing that you notice is that while the fingers are mummified, there is paint spatter all over them, caked underneath the nails. Like there's some on one of the sleeves. Like this is very clearly the man who lives here. He's absolutely a painter.
I'll relay that to everyone else.
And I would say with a cost, another thing that you notice is the look of fear on his face. Frozen in that moment, whatever it is that happened to him like that, and he knew that it was about to happen. And that hits something deep within you.
This man died scared, terrified even.
I would be in his place as well.
Yeah.
What Casimir wants to do is, well,
Mm-hmm.
this room is bizarre. It's like run down, but has a mass of high quality paintings. So I
Mm-hmm.
want to have a look around and see if there's any painting that stands out in this environment.
Okay. I'm going to say this is going to be an interesting one. I don't know what your various abilities are on your character sheet, but I would say that you can either roll a read test. In this case, it's like I'm leaning into that, interpreting body language as interpreting like the painting itself, the paintings themselves, or you can roll a focus test, which is a little
In,
bit more straightforward.
in that case, I think I'm going to go for the focus test.
Okay.
I have two, but I'll
Okay.
try and roll with one additional drive. So
Okay.
that gives me 3 die.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's one.
Yep. So you're spending one of your drives so that you add another die to your dice pool. Just
Okay.
saying it explicitly for viewers who maybe have not seen Candela
Yes,
Obscura
yes.
before.
So my base is 2 die, but I'm using drive to get one extra. My rolls are 2, 1, and a 6.
Oh, that went from really terrible to exceptionally good. So I would say that at first, just flavoring in the die rolls there. At first, as you're scanning around at these paintings, you are looking at them and you just see like weird sketches, blobs, all different kinds of weird things happening here as like very clearly like the preliminary base painting that would become something else. And then you start making connections as you look from painting to painting to painting. It's not that there's one particular one that is like the most worked, the most beautiful. These are all very clearly done by the same person from sketch to finished paintings. The thing that you notice is that in every single or nearly every single painting, there is a woman with distinctive features and a blood red walking dress with large spiked red flowers pinned into her hair in every single painting.
Well, I guess we know what his muse was.
Yes.
The woman in red, as Lightkeeper Minia's letter mentioned? There's our
Hmm.
connection.
Yes, it seems so.
Is there does the name mean anything to us as investigators of the paranormal? Like, have we? Is the lady in red a muse, an angel, a demon, a spirit?
No, nothing of that nature. And it's unclear because you would have heard about like not every circle talks to every other circle, but you still get news of things that have been happening in Newfaire. So you would have heard of this other circle's attempts to stop this painting of this woman in red. And what you remember, well, I would say roll a focus test for me.
Okay.
Shay specifically because you're asking about it.
Okay, I'm nervous. I haven't been rolling well today.
You got it. You've got this.
A 4.
A
is my highest.
4. Okay, so a mixed success. You don't remember the specific details about it, although you do remember reading about Amal Asadi's death in the newspaper. Just said under mysterious circumstances, no further details. There was no viewing of the body, things like that. But this woman in red that the other circle had stopped and contained had come from Old Fair, meaning at least several hundred years old. These paintings are all relatively new.
Well, it must be a recent obsession. Somehow our Red Lady found her way in this man's imagination? In his mind? Was he receiving messages from her?
One thing I wanted to check actually with the paintings and seeing this lady, does she match the style of the paintings, or does she seem out of place within them, as though he has painted them or she has appeared there?
Ooh.
Mm.
I would
Creepy.
say, unfortunately, all of this feels like focus to me.
Okay, that's fine.
So roll a
Oh,
focus test.
6.
A 6.
Ooh.
I would say that she matches most of them. Some of them, it seems like he had been painting something else. They're street scenes, like the opera house, things like that. They're all paintings that anyone can appear in. Like he very clearly was interested in other people and other people's lives and capturing those moments. But you'll see this woman in an opera house seat, very high up on a balcony looking over with the opera glasses. You see her sitting at a cafe reading a book in another one, all different kinds. And she's in sketches as well, just pen drawings, trying to capture her likeness. It does appear that these paintings intentionally had her in them. Whether she was actually physically there or not when he painted these, that's another matter. If these are even real places in Newfaire.
This is all very strange.
I have a suggestion. I don't think we should linger here anymore. Like the bureaucrats might come at any moment. We have the artifact. Let's just grab a few sketches, and I think we should start heading to Minias for maybe some consultation on this.
Yes, it's presuming that the painting of which the lady in red originally stepped out of and killed the people in the varnish. This is the painter of her likeness, or her victim, even.
Do we know if after the lady in red stepped out before and was dealt with, whether she is still in the painting, has returned to the painting?
No, she was completely destroyed.
Hmm.
I would be slightly worried about taking sketches to the circle.
How about a small one? I'm not saying let's
Little
take the
one.
big picture, just a small proof of something.
We have no idea if these paintings could reconstitute her form or what kind of painting or setting it needs to be for her to re-emerge into our reality. I would prefer taking all of these things and burning them. In fact, just burn the whole building down. Not
That's
with
it.
people in it, of course.
Yes, okay, yes.
So, are you planning to do a building-wide evacuation before setting it on fire?
And no, I won't set anything on fire. We'll leave Lightkeeper Minius to make that decision if it needs to happen.
If we're taking a sketch, just to be super cautious, shall we place the sketch in the aquarium?
I like that you're calling it an aquarium.
It's better than not placing it in the aquarium.
I feel I'd be more comfortable if we did that.
But can we at all sense from the sketches and paintings that they have like bleed aura around them?
Does one of you have a bleed detector?
I had ticked it before the session, thinking that I might
Okay.
want to have one.
Okay. So, in that case, please describe for us what your bleed detector looks like. It can be like a handheld doodad, it can be opera glasses, it can be anything.
Yeah, my first thought was similar to like a Geiger counter, but I know that
Okay.
like very early in time, but it's like a Geiger counter with a small dial that will move up and down depending on the level of bleed in the space.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so you pull out your bleed detector and you cast around the space, going around to all of the paintings, going over to the sofa that's clearly his bed, broken in the middle, over to the small kitchenette, to the desk, and around. And it doesn't appear that there's any other bleed in this area.
Okay.
Well, that solves it. So Casimir just folds up one of the sketches and puts it in his pocket.
Mm.
Like I said, initiative, I like it.
Just out of curiosity, is there anything else that you will want to look at in this space? You have no idea who this painter is, for example.
I was wondering about that. If we, I doubt Minia. I don't know if Minia knew that we were going to his home.
She
Or
knew the address, and that was it.
yeah, so she didn't say a name or anything.
Mm-mm.
Thank you for the tip. Well, I'll rifle through his personal belongings, see if we can't find an ID or a diary with
Mm-hmm.
his name in it.
Okay. So for that, I'll give you a couple of things, and maybe I'll have you roll something. So very clearly, his very poor filing system is at the sparse desk.
Hmm.
And as you're looking through it, you notice a trend. First of all, you find his name. This is Emerson Holloway. And that's a name that all of you recognize.
Is it?
He was once a very well-renowned Newfaire painter, but he fell out of favor after nasty rumors were spread about him by upper-class people of the Eves. And he just disappeared from view. He hasn't been heard of in years at this point.
What kind of rumors?
I'm going to throw that to you. What do you think? What kind of rumors would you have heard about this painter? He was once very popular with the upper class citizens of Newfaire.
I think he got involved with a group of young noble folk who maybe often ran along the wrong side of the law. And after one particular rich child was like arrested, they sought to pin all the blame for everything they were doing on Edward. And even though Edward was
Emerson.
Our Edward is blameless. On Emerson. And even though Emerson could never be found guilty for these things because they were just rumors, it was still enough to shove him out of society. At least that's what I heard.
Did anyone hear anything different?
I heard he had a scandalous gallery exhibition that shunned him from the painting society. All the artistic circles didn't want anything to do with him after that for kerfuffle.
Scandalous.
I'm just going to read this comment in the chat aloud because it amuses me. He doesn't even paint his own paintings. It was Christopher Marlowe. Thank you, Deep Scroll. Yes, so you've heard his name before. And so looking back at these pieces of paper at the desk, you see a number of overdue bills, second, third, fourth notice. You also see his own bills to other people, outstanding payments for paintings that he's already delivered but hasn't been paid for. You see a couple for the Alzaran Gallery, which is one of those just all-encompassing galleries. They have all manner of artifacts. They sometimes have exclusive showings that are invite only. And I would say, no, I'm not going to make you roll for this. As you are going through the pages, a little note slips out and falls to the ground.
What's this? And she'll unfold it and look at it.
Just very neat 3 words. TikTok Holloway.
Threat.
Bill, debt collector, perhaps, although he was collecting his own debts. Are there any bills here that reference the Newfaire Portrait Gallery?
Interestingly, looking through there, you do find a couple of bills for the Newfaire Portrait Gallery, but they're marked as paid.
Okay.
I would like to use one of my face skills, which is
Okay.
I know a guy.
Ooh.
And I want to like sift through the bills, the letters, and or either if I know anyone to whom these letters are addressed, or I maybe know someone who knows Emerson directly.
Okay. So read me your ability.
Once per assignment, ask the GM who you know nearby that could help you. The GM will tell you who they are and explain why this NPC might have insight into the investigation.
Interesting. Ooh, I like this. I'm going to say that you notice amongst all of these papers that there is a running tab, like he's been making notes of, what he owes at a particular space. One that you just recently vacated. It's the Serpent's Lounge, and a little note on the bottom from Elias Booth that says, "When you can."
Well, we have a name.
We have a lead.
Very good.
Perhaps we bring this artifact first to the reader's creed, and then follow up with the proprietor of the Scarlet.
The Serpent's Lounge,
The Serpent
Elias
Lounge.
Booth.
Elias Booth.
There are a lot of location names in here.
And they're all like, I'm digging the vibe, but yeah, there's a little. The Serpent's Lounge. Follow up with Mr. Booth at the lounge for dinner or tea.
Shall we make a reservation?
It's always wise. Make sure our booth is available.
Is that a pun?
Not on purpose. Not on purpose.
I did not intend that when I named him Elias Booth.
Fate.
Clearly fate. Okay. So you head out.
As we walk to the door, and I kind of dramatically will turn back around to look at the room one last time, and if possible, use my scout ability.
Okay, please describe it for me.
So, observing a location, you can spend 1 intuition to ask a question.
Okay. So you're going to spend 1 drive from your intuition to ask this question.
Which would be, what do I notice here that the others don't see?
Ooh. As you're looking around, you notice, just peeking out from underneath the sofa, a claw-like flower, deep red, just spiraling out. Much like the ones in the woman's hair in the paintings.
Oh, now to decide whether I take it or just mentally make a note of it?
Well, you know it's probably not doesn't have bleed because
Yeah, yeah, we've checked the room, haven't we?
Mm-hmm.
Carefully, we'll try
Mm-hmm.
to retrieve it from under there.
Okay. Are you touching it with your bare hands?
I would take a handkerchief out and try
Okay.
to close over that way.
Okay. You scoop up this flower in the handkerchief, tie it off, put it away.
Okay. Then the letter.
Okay.
I've got the aquarium in my bag again.
Banging against your leg as you walk down the ladder.
You can hear like the clinking of like vials and compacts and whatnot, sort of like all rummaging around.
Can't believe we didn't hear that on the way up.
A whole laboratory in one bag.
Incredible. And so you head over to the Reader's Creed. Okay.
Okay.
So you make your way over to the Reader's Creed. It's over in the Varnish, on kind of the outskirts of that space. It's nestled in between a cafe and a bakery. There are, like, even from the windows looking in, it's one of those very narrow spaces, but all you can see is books everywhere. It is filled to the brim. And so as you enter, a bell rings above the door, and staring down at you from a very tall ladder is a woman in I would say, like a pale blue dress. She is, sorry, let me find my description of her. Where are you? Vovistu. Doop. There it is. So she is a woman with darker skin, and her hair is curled and oiled, pinned up meticulously. Not a hair is out of place. She has piercing pale green eyes, and as she looks down on you, you feel like she is looking down on you. Oh, you've arrived then. Find
As
anything
per
interesting?
letter.
She
So
heads down the ladder and puts the book that she was holding on the round table beside her.
Shay will head to go to the round table and put the handbag down on top of it, on top of the book, and then sort of just like open the sides enough so that the aquarium starts to like come out, and you can see the statue inside.
Curious.
There is also this. And Casimir approaches Minya and goes like, "What's that behind your ear?" And goes like, "Ha!" and pulls out the sketch.
She just sniffs at that. Right.
it's one of your better ones.
You know, inside, Shay's would normally be like, roll her eyes at that, but here on with the Lightkeeper Minia, she's trying not to giggle.
Was there anything of use that you found in that apartment?
Yes, if you would look at the sketch in front of your, and if you would look at the sketch that the great Casimir has presented you, you might recognize a figure in it. It seems. Oh.
No, she lifts the lid because the sketch is inside this
Yeah.
container.
Oh, yes, sorry. It seems our victim might have been the original painter of Your Lady in Red.
No, this is not her. This is something different. Interesting.
How many red ladies are there?
Well, it's a rather popular color.
True.
I mean, I am wearing a red blouse, but like,
And there's the Scarlet Wood, there's Scarlet, there's the Scarlet, the Red Lantern. There's like red is everywhere. That's a vibe. Interesting and concerning.
the victim
Hmm.
also was clutching the statue and appeared to have undergone rapid mummification.
Well, that sounds like our other victims. They were husks when they were found. The OUP was trying to take care of things without getting us involved.
Well, funnily enough, OUP had already quarantined the scene. However, it looked as if they hadn't even investigated within.
Yeah, they basically just taped the whole thing up and as if they left.
That sounds like the OUP for them. Yes. Well, this is interesting and concerning. I thought that we had taken care of everything, but it appears that we have someone or something bringing bleed into the town.
Hmm.
Aren't people retrieving artifacts from Old Fair all the time?
Well, it's illegal. People still do it.
Mhm. Does our organization not also partake in that sometimes?
No, they try to contain, and so all of these artifacts and things that have bleed get shunted into a lighthouse, essentially.
Okay.
They get disappeared to protect people because it is dangerous.
Okay. Well, we have a potential lead, but figured this, and she like nods to the statue, would be better kept in your care. Lightkeeper.
Quite right.
One last thing,
Hmm.
and I will take out the handkerchief and place on the table. Find this underneath the sofa.
Interesting. And that makes more sense with the painting now. It's good that you did not touch this. That is a rather poisonous flower.
Well, count myself lucky.
Quite right.
How would a flower such as this come to be found in a space like that?
I hear of people in the eaves who like to cultivate poison gardens. It wouldn't surprise me if it came from one of them.
Our
Hmm.
painter did once have easy access to the eaves and the people within. It's not a big leap to make.
I suppose we will know more once we meet one of the associates of our late and very dehydrated painter friend, who was none other than Emerson Holloway.
That does seem to make sense then. It was rather popular.
Until he
With quite a
wasn't.
few of the families up there.
Hmm. Elias Boot, the proprietor of the Serpentis Lounge, might now know some more as he appeared in many of the correspondences in his flat.
Well, you are more than welcome to reach out to him. Gather any information that you can, of course. If you can find this woman in red, she does appear to have some sort of connection to what is going on here. If you can contact her, stop her, be safe, be sensible. We want you all coming out of this alive.
We're 3 points in a triangle. There are no other ways that we can move forward with this.
This is me laughing, not her. Right then. Well, you know your assignments. I'll be here if you need me.
Thank you, Lightkeeper Minia. And I guess we'll go.
Okay. And with that, I think that that's a really good place for us to take our break. We're at about the halfway point, so we'll see where things go from here. So, how long's the break? 10 minutes?
Sure.
Yeah. Okay.
It can be. Yeah, let's do 10.
Okay, sounds good. So we're going to take a 10-minute break, everyone. We will be back and we'll see y'all then. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to this assignment for Candela Obscura by Illuminated Worlds. We are coming back in now, having discovered a bleed infused statue of a canine of some kind in a painter's home, and the painter is sadly deceased, and the investigators discovered that he was a famous painter named Emerson Holloway who disappeared from the limelight some years ago after some rumors were spread about him. So they took this information to Lightkeeper Minia, who is their temporary Lightkeeper, as something happened to their past Lightkeeper. Hem hem. And now they are headed out from the Reader's Creed bookshop to the Serpent's Lounge, heading back to talk to getting my names, Elias Booth. I almost said Tobias Boone, which is from the book. Anyway, Elias Booth.
That is our best lead. The only other person that we know is connected or was connected from the Newfaire Portrait Gallery is dead. So
Yeah, I think that's the best thing we can do in this circumstance.
okay, we'll head that way then.
1 second. Okay, so you head on back to the Red Lantern district, going back to the Serpent's Lounge. It's later in the day now, say a little bit after lunch at this point. And it is bustling and busy. There is a quartet on stage now, striking up a very fast-paced tune, having like there are a couple of people dancing, twirling around, people eating, yes, but for the most part, just chattering, having a good time. Elias Booth himself is standing behind the bar off to one side, just preparing a couple of drinks as you enter into the establishment.
As it's lunchtime, I'm going to get a drink.
Valid. What do you have?
It would be like a very peated whiskey on the rocks, most likely.
Okay. I don't know much about drinks, but whiskey on the rocks. He immediately whips that out and starts like pouring the drink for you, slides it over to you. And for the two of you?
For me, a tall glass of information.
Does the information come with a price tag that you pay me? I can give you something, depending on what it is.
Do I have cash?
Yeah, you have money.
We must have tabs also. If we can keep a like private booth or a booth that or that's our usual spot.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then, in that case, the great Casimir takes out a large nomination banknote, and basically goes like, banknote appears here. Check your pocket.
And Elias is used to your shenanigans and just sighs. He's like probably in his 50s or so, balding on top, just got a little bit of a paunch in his belly, and he just sighs, checks his pockets. Does he pull out the notes?
No, it's a paper that has written on it. Ha, try again, and it's just it's in another pocket.
I'm gonna add 50 to your tab.
How did you get behind the bar to put that? Anyway,
Maybe we can put those skills to use in a situation at some point. Yeah, it's impressive.
Well, I am an artist. So, Emerson Hallway. Does it ring a bell?
He immediately tenses up when you say that, and he looks around. Come back this way. Just further away from the crowds, basically. Because you're kind of dead center in this space.
As we do that, can I just take a little scan around to see if there's anyone that we should be wary of?
Sure.
Anyone sitting in our booth, perhaps?
Yeah, kick them out.
Go ahead and roll a survey test for me.
Survey. Okay.
Mhm.
2 and a 1. Again,
Oh.
I just the chip in the glasses.
Failure with consequences. That glass in your glasses, one of the lenses shatters entirely.
Ugh. Well, this is just going to make this day even harder. Well, I'm only seeing half. Usually it's double, so this is fine.
Is Edward near or farsighted?
It's going to be struggles to see things far away. I can never get these, remember, so nearsighted.
So nearsighted, I can read this without my glasses on. I cannot see any of the books on my bookcases.
Yeah, so nearsighted struggles with things further away.
Okay. Yeah. So close up, you're fine.
Yeah. Well, I can still see my drink. That's the important thing. I can see you. But as far as I can tell, nothing around the room, I guess.
With a complete failure, no. Everyone is loud and noisy. There are plenty of people wearing red, but it's not anyone that looks anything like the woman in the paintings and the sketches that you can see with your half of glasses.
Dear Edward, I do believe someone has placed an evil eye on you.
It would appear that way. Perhaps a monocle is the way forward.
Certainly a stylish trend at the moment.
We'll see if I get a chance. We'll visit somewhere and get one made. Won't help the other eye, but
And then we follow Mr. Booth to this like back area.
Yeah. And he leads you, it's not exactly the back area, but it's this hallway that leads in that direction. And he just crosses his arms and says, "What do you want to know about Emerson?"
Well, for starters, what do you know about his passion for paintings, weird paintings, dangerous paintings even?
Nothing of that nature. No, he had a rough out with one of the families in the Eaves a couple of years ago. He's had a hard time since. I help him where I can, but it's been rough.
Well, it just got rougher.
What do you mean?
We found him dead this morning.
And you watch his face as he's like processing all of this. And then he just shakes his head. Poor guy. How'd he go?
Dry.
Just as a reminder, normal everyday people in Newfaire know nothing about the bleed.
I was about to. Okay, I was wondering.
Yeah.
Yes. She sort of shakes her head, tries not to laugh because this is serious business. Did Emerson have any enemies? We found a threatening note amongst his files.
Well, I mean, maybe the Lamberts. That's the family that were on the outs with him. What was the daughter's name? Florence Lambert.
Florence Lambert. Would he have owed? Do you know if he owed? Well, he owed a great many debts. But did the
did.
Lambert include one of those debt holders?
Not in a sense, no. He used to be the teacher for Florence. He taught her how to paint. And then one day he suddenly wasn't. I don't know many of the details beyond that, but it seems that they had something out for him. He was an honest sort. A shame.
Should we? She turns the rest of the triangle. Maybe we should pay a visit to Lambert Manor.
Right,
If
so
you can
let's-
get in, and he looks at the three of you, I highly doubt that they would allow you.
What would we? What? Why? What would we require?
A higher pedigree.
That's not the first time I've
I
heard
am a star of the stage, the master of arcane. They will definitely let me in.
You're welcome to try.
Perhaps you could sneak in, Casimir.
That I can do as well.
When was the last time that you saw Mr. Holloway?
Oh, about a couple of days ago, I would say. He was telling me about some of the clients who hadn't paid their bills. He was sure that this was going to finally get him out of that hole he found himself in, but clearly that was not the case.
And how was his mood then? Hopeful?
Helpful, yeah.
Hmm.
Best I could tell.
Well, you know what they say? Hope withers last.
This is true. Still, shame about the guy. He really was a good person.
Well,
Oh well. Guess he's never going to pay off that tab.
Most likely not.
You might swing by his apartment. Perhaps you can find something there to take his recompense.
Grab a painting or two.
Yeah. They were of good quality.
Maybe I could send someone around. I'll think about it.
Meanwhile, we'll head to Lambert House. See what we can do. Thank you, Mr. Booth.
thank you, Elias.
Of course. Stay safe. Okay. So you head out from the Serpent's Lounge then, heading over to the Eaves. As you walk along the streets, there are cable cars that come through. I'm trying to remember the names of cars, but I'm so bad at names of things. But like some of the original Model Ts, things like that, like the very first cars coming along the streets. It's still very much pedestrians everywhere. And so as you make your way up to the arch on which the eaves sits. I would say I would like for everyone to roll a survey test for me.
Okay. Ooh.
Well, first roll with disadvantage.
Oh, well, remember that you do have the option to take a gilded die. None of you have used them yet.
Oh.
I would like.
Oh, for our 3 die.
I'm gonna leave one in there. I can spend a drive instead to
You can spend a drive, and that would make it just a straight roll.
Okay, I'm gonna spend one of my 3 intuition drives.
Okay.
I got a
That
5
doesn't look
in
good.
mine.
3.
Okay. Failure. And sorry, Sam, what was yours?
5.
5. Okay. And Casimir? I know that I said Sam instead of anyway.
I'm gonna try and use. I'm gonna use 2 drives.
Okay.
I'm rolling 2 6s, and that's double 3s.
I feel like it makes sense that the detective is the one to notice this. As you continue along these busy streets, you catch something out of the corner of your eye, just a flash of red. You turn and there's no one there. And you continue on, but every once in a while you catch that flash. It's not enough that you're able to actually see who it is, but you notice it.
I think we're being followed.
By whom?
Can't say, but hunch, flash of red. I know there's a lot of red around, but that seems out of place.
How exciting. A painting come to life tracking us down to murder us.
Exciting is not the word I would use, but keeps the day interesting.
It keeps things exciting. It's active.
Oh. Either ways, we need to be on our guard.
As we approach the manor, I keep using.
It's a fair distance. It is a manor,
Okay.
but you're still maybe 15 minutes away from it at this point.
Okay, so I'm gonna suggest to the group. Perhaps there must be like a servant's entrance. We could knock there, speak with some of the house staff. If we slip enough currency, I'm sure they'd be willing to spill some secrets.
It's a sensible first route. Shall we stay together?
Unless the great Casimir feels like venturing through the front door.
Definitely. My showmanship and aura will definitely open all doors.
Isn't Shazam enough?
Unfortunately, higher echelons don't work that easy.
Yes, their doors are warded by a great magic known as money.
Exactly.
It's a deep and ancient magic.
Yes.
Powerful.
Yep.
Well, then that's what Casimir tries to do. And tries to just like wander through the main gate or entrance.
So
just a technicality. So the owners of the place, what are the names? What's the name that we are looking for right now?
So you didn't get the name of the parents, but you got the name of the daughter, which is Florence Lambert. It's the French. I'll put it into the video chat.
She was the ex-pupil of
Mhm.
Emerson Holloway.
Yeah.
Yep. So Lambert with the T on the end because I speak French.
Okay.
So, as you are walking along, one thing that you all do notice is that the quality of clothing as you continue along up towards the eaves gets much nicer than your own. You look shabby in comparison.
Ah,
Even in my magician's outfit is just
You look ostentatious.
I'm suddenly very self-conscious of all the feathers that are like falling off my cloak and trailing behind me. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
oh, these really are chicken feathers.
Well, perhaps when this is over, it's time for an upgrade.
Hmm, we'll see. I found the Candela Obscura does not pay very well.
It does pay, but yeah, not very well.
I mean, it's better than not being paid, but just barely.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So you eventually find yourselves outside of the Lambert Estates. And the front entrance is a rather simple for the eaves archway, beautiful stonework with sculptures on either side depicting women in ridiculous poses. Uh, Looks a little bit unnatural if you were to try to do the pose yourself.
Mhm.
Um, and you see along this very long drive at the far end is a large manor house. There are clusters of gardens all over the space that you can see here. Do you all walk up the main drive here?
I think Edward and I were gonna go around to the servant entrance
Okay.
and
Yeah, I
leave
think so.
Casimir to work his magic.
But okay, so Casimir, you continue along this long walk. You see that there are several gardeners out in the gardens, taking care of it, making sure that it's impeccable, and eventually make your way up to a columned entrance with a very large, like 15-foot tall door. There's a knocker at the front.
I grab it and quite confidently with power just go like
It does not take long for a servant to appear at the door in a very neat, like black suit with tails, perfectly coiffed hair. He is in his like early 20s with dark black hair, let's say, and a puzzled expression on his face the second he sees you. Like he goes from presentery to huh? I'm sorry. May I help you?
Greetings! I am the great Casimir, here to deliver a message directly to the Miss Florence Lambert.
She is not seeing visitors right now, especially not any magicians. Good day. And he
What?
begins to try to close the door.
No, I put my foot in the door. You don't understand. This is of utmost importance for Miss Lambert that I deliver this message directly.
I'm going to say that he was closing the door very quickly. You're going to take a body mark as he crushes your foot a little bit in the door jam.
As it crushes my foot, go. "Ah, I've been worse. Wait, so body mark?
Yep, you take a body mark. Genuinely, sir, you are not permitted here. Please be on your way, or I will send someone to send you on your way.
Casimir goes, huh? Huh? kablam, and uses a smoke bomb, which is an item I know I can have in my inventory.
I love that this is what you use the smoke bomb for.
So I use the smoke bomb to cause a distraction and just run into the mansion.
Well, the door was like this.
I basically push him through the smoke and crash into him.
Oh my god. Okay, I'm gonna need you to roll a move test.
Oh my god, I don't have much of that. Oh no, I have actually one in this. So-
Okay.
Take one of the circle staminas.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can take a gilded die.
I feel like
Okay,
this
that will
is
give me an additional one.
It gives you a special die, a gilded die. So gilded dies can re-add spent drives back to your pool.
So if I'm using, because this is nerve,
Mhm.
it can only give me a drive to nerve, right?
Correct.
I'm gonna do it then. Then I'm gonna use a gilded die for move,
Mhm.
and that's a 5.
5 on the gilded die. Do you also have a dot in move?
Yes.
Okay, so roll the regular die as well.
Okay. Well, in that case, that is 2. I
Okay,
think I'm gonna
so
stick with 5.
yeah, and so if you spent a drive in nerve, you now have that drive back because you're taking the gilded die roll.
Mm-hmm.
So it comes at a cost. You do manage to push him out of the way. He goes sprawling on the ground as you rush into this very ornate entrance hall. And he immediately scrabbles up and starts ringing on an alarm bell.
Oh God, I have not thought this through. Miss
Meanwhile,
Lambert.
Edward and Shay.
Shade, do you think it was the right idea to leave the magician? I'm sure it's fine.
yes, absolutely.
the
Instead of
basement.
making her way towards like a servant's door, she's looking for a trellis to climb up into the building.
Okay.
I mean, everyone knows with sage magic,
Mhm.
you follow the distraction.
Okay. So go ahead and roll a survey test for me.
Okay. I have no die in survey, but I am going to
Okay.
spend 2 drive, my last 2
Okay.
drive in intuition.
Okay, so now you get to roll the 2 dice. As normal.
A 6.
A 6. Incredible success. There was going to be a trellis no matter what. It just was if it was going to be convenient or not, essentially. So, yes, there is a trellis. It's kind of tucked around the manor off to one side. You have to get to it through the gardens, and it is just covered in vines, and it leads all the way up to a balcony on the second floor. American second floor, UK, Europe first floor. The next floor up from the ground.
She heads to the trellis and like puts one foot in and like holding on and looks back at Edward and says, "Are you coming?"
I thought, fine, okay, yes. But before doing that, just I check for this red flash again.
Oh, yes.
Oh no, I'm scared now. Oh God.
Go ahead and roll. Yeah, this is still a survey test.
Okay. 6.
A 6. No flash. You don't see anyone in red watching you, but out around behind a rhododendron bush, you do see that there is a gardener who is maintaining it and glances your way.
You're doing a grand job. Just keep at it and just start climbing.
The gardener just cries out, "Hey, what are you doing?"
You don't get paid enough for this.
We're just inspecting the integrity of the trellis. You have to climb them occasionally, or the vines will do it for you.
Okay, this is a sway test because you were trying to convince this gardener of something that they do not believe.
Okay. You take a circle die. Let's just.
Okay.
Might as well use it.
Yeah.
Right. So I would roll this with disadvantage because I have nothing in sway. If I had a gilded die,
So then you would just roll the gilded die.
just roll the gilded die. Okay. Oh, that is a 6. I had to look. Yeah, that is a 6.
Yay!
Amazing.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, on the Candela Obscura dice, the 6 is actually the logo.
This looks
Amazing.
fancy.
Yeah. But anyway, okay, a 6. They look to the side, to the other side, continue around the rhododendron bush clipping.
Nice.
As I said, good job. Good job. Keep at it.
They don't reply.
That was close.
And yeah, Shay is working her way up towards the balcony.
Mhm.
What are these like French doors?
Oh, absolutely. It's a beautiful balcony with like a very simple one-person wrought iron table that's been painted white off to one side. There's a book sitting out on the table, just like a general romance novel, we'll say. And there are the double French doors leading over to this.
I'm gonna step over to those, try the handles, see if it's unlocked.
It is unlocked.
Okay, and then I will slowly open it, peek in, make sure no one's actually in there before entering the building.
You glance around. There's no one in this room.
Okay. And then making sure Edward's right behind her. She'll go in.
All clear.
And as you do this, you hear shouts from down a hall and Casimir exclaiming.
Right on time.
So are those the noises of me introducing myself, or already crashing into the place?
near the tail end of it, right about as you're going to crash through the door. So for the two of you, for Edward and Shay, you find yourselves in what looks to be a general purpose room, like a almost like a lounge. There's a pianoforte off to one side. There are several bookcases in here filled with, sparsely filled with books, but also with like sculptures and other things. You see a harp off to one side as well. And yeah, there's no one in here.
I think we're looking for painting stuff, red
Yeah,
flowers.
but we don't. But do not touch any flowers you see.
Mm-hmm. Is there exits?
Yes, there's I'd say there's only one door leading out of here.
Go there, open it again, same thing, like just a little bit, see if the yelling is coming closer or going further away.
It's getting louder,
Okay.
but it is further down the hallway and down.
Okay.
What are you
Nice.
doing here?
He's clearly putting on a show. I think. Yeah.
We should best take advantage.
This is probably the moment you just keep hearing me frantically running, going like, Miss Florence! Miss Florence Lambert!
I hope we have enough money for bail this time.
Maybe a night or a weekend would do him some good.
Maybe.
I've got magical telegram for you!
So looking out into the hallway, is there any indication? Yeah, like I said, we're looking for perhaps Miss Florence's room, a painting studio, anything. I know it's a little, but yeah.
Yeah. So, looking down the hallway, you're at essentially what's like an L shape. So you're near the turning point of these hallways, and you can see off down the one longer hall. There's the sweeping staircase that leads down into the foyer, and off to the right, there are several doors along the walls here. And you also see that there are many paintings just covering the walls, just in the hallway itself.
Oh, okay, okay. Um, all right, that's about as far as my plan got me. Edward, any ideas?
Any other rooms that we can check whilst we've got this quiet time here.
I'd say anything not in the direction of the foyer.
Right.
Yes.
So she'll just start striding down the hallway
Mm-hmm.
confidently, just open a door because like now she's a little impatient and who knows how much time we have. Open a door, look
Yep.
in. If it's not interesting, she shuts it, goes to the next one.
Mm-hmm. And I would say it takes several of these. I won't describe every single room in detail. You go through several rooms before you find one that appears to be maybe Florence's. You
Aha.
see rough sketches and paintings. You see there's a large bay window in this room, and sitting on a flower bed just up against the window, you see several of these red lilies.
Oh.
I immediately get my bleed detector out.
You get your bleed detector out, and the Geiger counter starts moving.
Wow. Don't touch anything in here until we know it's safe.
Okay. So she'll put her hands in her pockets because her pants do have pockets.
Mm-hmm, as they should.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, we'll look around the sketches. Are we seeing any familiarities with Mr. Holloway's work?
Looking around at the sketches, they're okay, but you can tell that these are much rougher, not as good quality
Hmm.
as Holloway's. Even the paintings, they look very crudely done. You can tell that, for example, there's a bench with a flower garden all around it, but beyond that, like the details just aren't there. It's like more training is needed, essentially.
Okay.
Well, I think this looks like the place. This is definitely her room.
I would like to look
Mm-hmm.
for something where she has written like a diary or
Mm-hmm.
calendar and compare the script with the note that said TikTok Holloway.
Okay. For that, I'm going to have you roll a survey test.
I'm going to use a gilded die, the stamina die,
Okay.
because I don't have anything in survey otherwise.
Okay.
But I do have enough drive in intuition where this could help. Please. A 1!
Oh.
And I've already spent my
Oh.
resistance. No.
So that was so you had otherwise you would have been rolling with disadvantage, or
Yeah.
okay, yeah. So in that case, with a 1, oh, complication. You have a really hard time keeping your hands to yourself.
Well, I'm literally
Uh,
rifling through her desk, like looking for doing the exact opposite that Edward told me to do.
Exactly. And as you are like going through the desk trying to find things, you're just a little bit distracted. And, there are knickknacks all over this desk, like any desk generally. I'm looking at my own desk. Knickknacks everywhere. And you realize just as you start to touch it that there is a figurine of a wolf sitting on the desk, and you reach out and you grab it,
Oh, and it's with the left hand this time.
and you once more take in that sensation of heat and ice, and it begins to just pulsate through you, and there's almost this screaming in your head that you just can't shake, and then you drop it and it
Ah,
slowly recedes, and you have taken another bleed mark.
she fumbles at her amulet, and I'm gonna use this is I'm gonna say that this is a ward and my
Okay.
gear and soak
Okay.
that bleed with it. And so as she fumbles it with the hand that maybe with the other hand, she always hits it with the right hand. And as she does, you can see. Can you see bleed? Are there like
You can potentially, if there's enough of it, to cause scars.
maybe as she fumbles at it, the pulsating statuette like quickly dims down and appears inert once more, and her breathing steadies, and she's warded off that extra bleed.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause she was already at one bleed, so she's
Yep.
looking. I mean, I don't know if she's looking, but something's not all there. She's feeling a little disembodied.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Okay, so I will say that that is your one use
Yes.
of that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It soaks one bleed. It doesn't do any more than that
Yep.
well,
until
Shay, it
tomorrow.
seems after what's happened today so far, there are definitely two wolves inside of you. Don't touch that thing again.
So, young Florence has managed to acquire a bleed artifact. Interesting.
Yeah, it would seem that way. You don't have your aquarium anymore, I believe.
It's at the reader's screed.
Well, I guess we leave that where it is on the floor for now. And is there any indication that there's other items in the room that my bleed detector would be picking up, or would it be mainly that object?
So as the amulet soaks up that bleed, the Geiger counter bleed detector stills.
Okay, that's good news. That is good news. Do you need to sit?
No, we don't have time. How obviously this connects her with Edward beyond just being his ex pupil. But is there anything else in here? The flowers.
Yeah, do these flowers look the same as the other spider lilies?
Mm-hmm. They do
Hmm.
indeed. They look identical.
Well, let's definitely not be touching any of those. Perhaps one scent, one flower to the other, or a bouquet to this one.
Well, she has more than one.
Yes.
I'm assuming she maybe was blackmailing him or expecting something. Tick tock.
I'm gonna do the same again with my scout because I still got a drive available to it
Okay.
to ask
Mm-hmm.
what in this room that we've not seen might be of use to us.
What in this room might be of use? So you found her sketches, her attempts at painting. You found her flowers, and you found the bleed artifact. As you're scanning around, you go back over to the desk and you notice that there is a sheet of paper pulled out from the rest. It was behind them. And you note that there are names on this list. You see Amala Sadi, and you see Emerson Holloway. You also see Minia.
Oh no. I'll relay that to Shay.
Let's take it. And then she like looks to the door. What is the situation outside?
Yeah.
So the situation outside, I'm literally imagining almost like Scooby-Doo style people chasing after
A man
Casimir.
with a cape just running around.
Because the way that you described it, he's like running around, like calling out, trying to find her. And so there's like multiple servants also chasing after you, tripping over themselves, trying to get rid of the strange man in their manor who does not belong and is disrupting life. There's a specific order of how things happen in life, and this is not it. And I would say at this point, that original butler who answered the door has like gotten over getting knocked over, and he manages to leap up and grab onto you and is like wrestling you to the front door.
Unhand me, you brute! I am an artist of the highest order!
You are a charlatan and you must leave this establishment immediately. This is not where you belong. Leave. The family will not be happy if you are here.
I'm not happy!
Neither are we. Now leave. And two of the maids like open the door for him to like push you out into the front. And he immediately just slams the door and you hear the lock go.
I curse this entire household! You will all wake up with rashes in places you never want to have rashes, huh?
That
Is
might
this
be our
the last
cue.
you've seen of the great Casimir?
Yes, I think he's played his part well, hasn't he?
Mhm.
I think we've left someone in great danger.
Minia, yes.
Yes, yeah, we've the other two are gone, and she's the. Was it just the 3 names on the list?
It's just the 3 names on the list, yes.
Mm-hmm.
We better hurry back and get out of here.
Probably a good idea. I'm gonna need both of you to try to sneak away. So I need you to roll a hide test for me to see how well you leave this house without being noticed.
Oh God.
Yep.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Disadvantage.
Hey.
Advantage for me. 5.
Okay.
1.
Oh.
Oh God.
I think I used the last. We've used all 3 stamina die.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yep.
So you both are hurrying to leave now that your distraction has left the building. And going back the way you came, I assume.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So you head out into the balcony, start climbing down the trellis. I would say that Edward, you're doing okay. You manage to like wrench out some of the vines that are on this trellis in your rush, which the gardener is not going to be too happy about. I'm sorry, Shay. You're the one who keeps rolling the worst.
I am.
And so, as you are rushing out, trying to leave without being seen, you are like over the trellis onto it when someone bursts in to that room that leads off to the balcony. You see an older gentleman, stately looking, serious. He looks shocked as he sees you, and as that happens, you lose your footing and you drop.
Ah.
And so you're going to take a body mark.
Okay.
Shay is the only one taking marks here. I'm
You
so
know,
sorry.
I think this Scarlet microdosing experiment is just not working out.
No.
Yeah. And so you like get the wind knocked from you as you watch the sky up above and you collapse on the ground.
I'll put a hand out and help Shay up.
She just sees
No.
like your face come in view and then grabs your hand.
No one else saw. It's fine. Don't be embarrassed.
Well,
It's
someone
fine.
saw.
Yes, and she like looks up. We should go.
Oh, there's someone there. I didn't see that.
We locked eyes.
Let's-
Anyway,
yeah, sprint.
the feathers are just flying from behind her now.
You've absolutely left feathers behind. Like, you were trying to be sneaky with a feather boa just losing feathers as you walked around.
Her like arcane makeup is just smeared all over.
Mm-hmm.
It's bad. It's just not looking good.
And do you rush out of there?
As fast as we can.
Yeah, and meet up with Casimir.
Okay. You reconnect outside of this estate, probably wanting to bustle away quickly.
Yes.
As you do hear shouts coming out from behind. Someone calling out, "There's more of them. They might have stolen something."
Well, I think we made a very good show out of us. Now let's skedaddle.
We're heading back to the Reader's Creed. I think we need to get back there as quickly as possible.
Hopefully you found something of use and interest.
Information, yes, we think that the Lightkeeper might be in danger.
Well then, let's do haste.
It seems like Miss Florence has an agenda. And Casimir, by the way, well done. Marvelous.
You know,
Top-notch show.
I always know how to rally a crowd.
Okay, so you rush back over to the Varnish, to the Reader's Creed. As you are rushing there, I would say this is getting into late afternoon at this point, and you make your way down quickly, passing by the art galleries and the bustling cafes. The Varnish is like this vibrant district that is basically, I always think of it like the Champs-Elysees. Just people, tourists, things like that. Rich people go there. They go to shop. They go to see the theater. They go to be seen. Those kinds of things. And so you rush along and eventually find yourselves a block away from the Reader's Creed when you hear a scream from an alleyway.
Oh, I don't think we can leave. Shall we check that?
Do we want to?
Feels like it would be really irresponsible not to.
Fine.
Screams in alleyways usually end up badly, so it's on you.
I'll
We're
take this
following.
one. I'll take this one.
Okay. excuse me, I'm burping. You rush down this alley and turn the corner and find yourselves at a dead end. There's no one here. And as you turn back to the entrance, you find your gaze fixed on a pair of glowing, malevolent eyes peeking out at you from the shadows. The creature reveals itself slowly, its monstrous form emerging step by step. It appears to be almost wolf-like, if wolves came from nightmares, warped and grotesque. Its limbs are elongated and disjointed, bending at unnatural angles, its jagged fangs glistening in the faint light as drool drips from its twisted mouth. It emits a low, guttural growl and launches to attack.
I reach towards my ankle and pull out a small handgun.
Okay.
Casimir does similar, but he goes zim zam kablam, and a hidden pistol emerges from his.
Amazing. So for the players and the viewers who have never played Candela Obscura before, there is no initiative here. I, if you haven't noticed, have not rolled a single die in this entire game. Whatever this wolf creature does will be in reaction to what you roll.
Okay.
So if you roll poorly, you will probably get bitten or attacked in some nature. If you roll really well, you manage to evade it. So
Okay.
who would like to do what?
Shay will step behind the two gentlemen, and from her handbag pull out a ritual blade.
Ooh.
There are some arcane occult sigils and symbols inscribed upon it in some sort of metal, like a shiny metal, maybe brass or gold. And I'm using my ghost blade ability. I coat it in my blood and take a body mark. So she slices her hand and rubs the blood on it, and those sigils begin to glow. So I take a mark, another body mark. But now the ghost blade is particularly effective against magical beings and can strike invisible or ethereal creatures.
Very cool. Okay, so you have done that. And what would Edward and Casimir like to do? Whoever wants to go first.
I would take a shot straight at this wolf creature.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So for that, you are going to roll control because shoot is part of the control test.
Okay. Really hope this goes well. That's a 1.
So as you go to shoot at it, it is going much faster than you were expecting, bounding down this alleyway, and you watch as those disjointed limbs it leaps forward and arches in a very unnatural way, being an unnatural beast itself, and lands squarely on you, knocking you to the ground, and you are going to take a body mark here as it grinds you into this alley.
I will not say anything. I will just be like too stunned to speak at that moment.
Yeah, and I will say one thing that you notice now that it's out of the shadows, it has this strange, almost green quality to it.
That's exactly what I was expecting.
Casimir, anything you'd like to do?
Well, as I mentioned, Casimir manages to equip a hidden gun that he had in his sleeve, and he just goes like empties the entire clip at the thing.
So go ahead and roll a control test for me.
So I have 1 control, but I also have 1 drive and nerves. I'm gonna use that. So I'm gonna take the
yeah. So roll twice.
So that's 1, 2. That's a 4 and a 2.
Okay, well, the 4 is a mixed success. It comes at a cost. So I would say that you do manage to take a shot at this creature, and it's like the sound of shattering glass as the bullet embeds itself in its shoulder. It shakes it off as you do this, and it is now looming in your direction. The cost here is that you are its next target.
Well, then
But because it was a 4 and not a 1 to 3, it doesn't actually attack this time. But you are in its sights.
Okay.
Shay might take advantage of this.
Mm-hmm.
As like she has her left palm is sort of bleeding openly now, so she just sort of like holds it away from her body, wielding the ritual dagger in front of her. And as she notices that the wolf is focusing on the great Casimir, wonderfully playing the distraction again, she will spin the dagger so that it's like facing downwards and move from behind to try and like backstab this wolf with the ghost blade.
Okay. And Ghost Blade, does that still use
It doesn't specify.
Okay, so I would say in that case you can choose. You can roll either strike or control.
Yay, thank you so much. I mean, I have a point in strike, but I have 2 in control.
Okay.
And I have 6 drive and nerve.
Ooh, might be a good time to use.
She do got nerve. So I'm just gonna go ahead and I'm gonna spend 3 drive. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So I'm rolling 5 dice as I try to finesse this backstab. I got 1 6.
So I because 2 6s is a critical success, but
Dang. Okay.
1 6 is an absolute success. You do what you set out to do. So please paint a picture, describe for us what this looks like as you stab down at it.
So with one hand bleeding, but almost like the way she's holding it, it's as if that open wound is necessary to maintain the integrity of the ghost blade. So like she's channeling this energy, flips the dagger around and just into its like lower back, not its butt, but like to like above the spine to the right, where maybe like a kidney might be on a normal
On a
creature.
normal one.
She just like stabs it down, and we can see the ghost blade begin to like steam as it slices through its crystalline flesh.
And I will say, because you rolled a 6, if you had rolled anything less, you would have taken another bleed. But because you rolled a 6, you managed to avoid it as you just carve into this thing. And it is a very strange sensation for you as you are carving through stone. So this is happening. Does anyone else have something they want to do? If not, I have something.
Well, I have a move that I want to do, but I want to do it in my turn.
There's no turns, so
Okay.
what would you like to do?
I have a very strange idea, and I need to ask if I can do it. So, since Casimir sees this, because he starts noticing that it's more like glass, it behaves like glass, it's kind of like fragile that way. Casimir wants to touch the creature and use prestige to teleport with it a short distance into the air.
Read prestige for me.
So prestige is your magic is usually all smoke and mirrors, but you have one trick you've learned that's real. Roll sense when you perform it, and on a success, take a bleed mark. Circle one option when you take this ability, and there are like the options what the magic is. Like change appearance, levitate, summon mundane object, teleport a short distance, or throw your voice. And this is what I'm asking. Would you allow me to like teleport with it into the air and basically free fall?
Well, let's see what your sense roll is.
Mm-hmm.
So I have 1 sense and it's
Mhm.
gilded, but I
Okay.
also have 3 drives. So
Okay.
I'm gonna use all those drives on this. So I basically am rolling 4 and a gilded die. So,
Well, the gilded die is one of the 4.
so 3 normal and this one. So
Yep.
I'm just gonna roll the normal ones. 1, 2, 3. That is a 5 and 3 ones.
Ah. Do you do, do you have any resistance?
Actually, I do.
Okay.
I have actually 2 resistance in this.
So, you can spend a resistance and then you can only roll the normal, the gilded die. You're not allowed to re-roll the drives.
I will use the 1 resistance to reroll that one.
Okay.
I saw those 2 ones and the gilded one. I was like, oh. Okay. Come.
Worse?
Can I reroll that as well if I have 2 resistances?
You know what? I don't know if you're allowed to use multiple resistances. I'm gonna say yes because we're nearing the end of the game. Go for it.
It was a 2, so I'm gonna go and just reuse everything I have for this. That's a 5.
Okay. You spent the resistances, but you ended up with a 5. You do also get a drive back because it's a gilded die.
Nice.
So there's that. So as you reach out to teleport it, you find yourself high up in the air. What does bleed feel like to Casimir?
To Casimir, it feels like electric shocks moving through his body, basically tensing the entire posture and everything. His eyes rolling back, looking like he's being controlled by something whenever he uses that kind of power that he wields.
And so as you find yourself up high, it's like, oh yeah, it worked. Awesome. That pulsing, electrifying energy courses through you and it makes everything tense up. And in a moment, your vision goes white and you blink it back and it fades. You are going to take a bleed. So take that bleed mark.
I will.
Oh, and don't forget that because you used your ability, you also take a bleed from that.
So that's 2 bleeds.
Yep. You are not feeling great. But
Oh, I also just wanted to add that most likely for how the teleport looks.
mhm.
It's just like everyone's looking at Casimir and the creature, and it's like this soundless, no effects, no nothing. They just disappear, and suddenly they're in the new place.
And so you have the moment to register all of this happening, and then you come crashing back down to earth, and the wolf-like creature shatters on impact. And as it does, it reverts back into a tiny, broken figurine of a wolf. And you just hear a, well done, you defeated my wolf.
I can't see who that is.
You can, your vision came back.
I'm
It was
probably,
just for that moment.
I'm probably just laying next to the rubble. I'm imagining.
You see a woman dressed in red walking into the alley. She has this snarling expression on her face, like she once was beautiful, but something has changed. And the anger that she sees distorts her features. And it's not just anger that's distorting her. You see a shimmer, and her face contorts and reverts back, and everything shifts and comes back. It's like she isn't fully in the moment. She's stuttering. It's very clear that she has been affected by bleed for a very long time, and it has scarred her.
Shay, still hand bleeding, dagger forward, like turns around and like kind of like holds the dagger out in front, like defensively.
Edward will kind of get back to his feet after being pounced on by the wolf and just like raise the pistol.
You think that that can stop me? Oh, no, 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 no. I'm evolved. I'm more than that.
We're on to you, Florence.
You're on to me. I would say so. Isn't going to do you very much good. I get what I deserve. Nothing less, nothing more.
You might be right.
That crackpot of a painter got what he deserved as well. He said that I wasn't good, that I couldn't do anything with my life. Well, let's see how that happens to turn out for him as a corpse.
Casimir gets back on his feet, dusts off. Listen, lady, we just destroyed your wolf. Give up. Surrender now.
Listen to the man in the top hat.
He doesn't look like he can be taken seriously. No, I'm quite all right. And you watch as she's continuing to stutter more and more and more. There are moments where part of her body is missing, like not in a grotesque way, just like gone from the moment and then back and then gone from the moment.
It
As
doesn't
he
seem
walks
to me
towards
like you have what you want. You do not seem like you're in control.
Oh, I'm being perfectly fine. Everything will be grand. But you people seem to want to control me, and I do not stand for that.
Can I still, from gear, you said we can have 3 gears, right?
Yes.
So I had a flash powder, I had a hidden weapon.
Mhm.
Can I get another weapon that is a hidden blade in the cane that I have?
Totally. Please have a hidden weapon in your cane.
So Casimir just like unsheathes his hidden rapier and goes, "Every artist needs to know when to leave the stage," and just lunges on.
Okay. I'm gonna need you to roll either strike or control, your choice.
Strike or control? Let me see. In control, I have something, so I'm gonna actually
Yeah.
control. I know what that's. Doesn't matter. That's a 4.
A 4. So success. Sorry, there was a little bit of tea leaves in there. So a mixed success. So as you lunge out to her, describe it for us. What is it? What is it that Casimir does here?
So, as you've probably
What is he trying to do?
as you've probably seen people who do fencing. So with the blade, he assumes like a fencing pose and just jumps at her, trying to pierce her through the chest, aiming
And
somewhere where like the glitches and everything happen, trying to somehow wound her.
mhm. And you plunge the sword in, and it implodes as her form crumples further and further and further, centering down into this giant red spot, and then explodes outward in a shower of shards of red glass. I'm going to need everyone to roll something that is on the floor because my paper fell. I'm going to need everyone to roll a move test for me to avoid getting hit.
Okay.
Okay.
Gonna use some of my resistances.
For me, that's again 4.
Okay.
That's
I'm gonna use.
a 5 for me.
Okay.
I'm gonna use. I still have 3 drive left,
Okay.
so I'm gonna use 2 of those to roll 3 dice. And I have a 6.
Hey,
Nice.
we have a 4,
Nice.
5, and a 6. So, Shay, you managed to duck behind a dustbin that was in the way, and these shards of red glass just scatter and embed themselves in the walls all around. Unfortunately for Edward and Casimir, as you're dodging and getting out of the way, I will say that because you were a mixed success, this is going to be a body mark instead of a bleed mark, as you manage to get away from the detonation zone before it diffused out into the air. And so as you dodge out of the way, you get slammed by these glass shards. And as this begins to settle, you all look around, and Florence Lambert is no more. Whatever she was too touched by bleed to maintain herself. She was marked, she was scarred, she came undone.
Lightkeeper Pythagoras warned of things like this, that too much bleed not only affected the psyche and the soul, but the body in a way that it would become. They used to say insubstantial, but I think really unstable is the better term.
At the end of the day, I feel really sorry for her.
I still have pieces of her in me. Just, I start removing the glass shards from myself.
Yeah. It didn't hit anything important. You just have wounds on you.
We should get some, I don't know, alcohol or something on those wounds, on those scratches. Perhaps Lightkeeper Minia will have something for us.
We'll
Hopefully.
keep those shards as evidence, I guess.
Good point. Plus, we don't want anyone just coming upon this mess.
Or this wolf that is here.
Is there still
Well, it
a
is
lot of
itty bitty
room?
now.
Ah,
Oh,
It
it is.
reverted back down into the figurine size.
Yeah.
If she needs to, go for it.
Oh, no, I don't know.
If she'll like take off her feather cloak and wrap up the wolf in it, since we don't have another containment unit.
Wow, 3 wolves.
That's exactly what I didn't want. 2 was bad enough.
well, that was a smashing success.
And so you head back over. You're only a block away from the Reader's Creed, and seemingly you managed to stop Florence from her task, whatever you can assume it may be. You find Lightkeeper Minia there just reading a book. She has a cup of tea that she's sipping, and she looks up. You all look worse for wear.
You don't say.
Well, did you find whatever it was? Did you contain
Pieces of it.
I assume we have some of the shards, or like most of the shards of Miss Florence in the containers. Like, here is Miss Florence. Or at least what's left of her.
She does look slightly shaken at you saying that, which is a rare occurrence for Lightkeeper Minia. Why don't you sit down and have a cup of tea with me and tell me everything that has happened? It seems that it's finished, so that is good.
Before we sit down to explain what's going on, I will just look at Casimir and Shay and say that it has been a strange day. It's been a strange forever. But I think what this is really teaching me, at least, I don't know about you, is that we are the sum of each other's parts. Equilateral, you might say.
The triangle is one of the strongest geometrical shapes. I'm happy to be a point with the two of you.
Edward, if this was weird for you, it only shows you have not been to show business. But yes, it was an enjoyable mission.
And so we fade out on the three of you clustered around this table, getting tea and speaking with Lightkeeper Minia about what happened. And we fade away from this moment. And that is where we will end our assignment. This has been an absolute pleasure to run for you all. I was not expecting you to go to the manor, and all of that was made up on the spot.
Nice.
Oh, it was incredible.
So thank you so much for going on this adventure with me. I had it was an absolute pleasure running this for you all. So
Oh, thank you for running it.
yeah.
Thank you for having us.
And for teaching us Candela Obscura.
Yeah.
It's a very interesting game. And
Mhm.
I'm already thinking about what a longer campaign or chronicle
Mhm.
would seem like.
Well, here, just for fun, there are the epilogue questions, and then we'll do our outros. So that's basically like, just like in Monster of the Week or Glitter Hearts, there are questions for leveling up the circle, basically. So just to ask them, because why not? Did you defeat and or contain the bleed artifacts for Candela Obscura?
Technically, there might be a third wolf statue out there.
Mm-hmm.
Still, or that was the wolf statue that later attacked us, so it could be contained.
Yeah.
Big maybe on that.
Big
I
maybe.
would say it's a yes.
Okay, thank you.
Did you rescue anyone during the course of your investigation?
Yes, Lightkeeper Minia, we prevented her death.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Did you bond with any of the NPCs? And if so, what happened to them?
I feel like Elias Booth, we had a level of understanding there, and
Mm-hmm.
they were safe as far as we know.
Yeah. And did you stop Florence Lambert from continuing her revenge plot, either through killing her or getting the OUP involved to arrest her?
Well, we definitely shattered her plans. So.
Perfect.
Oh my god, I love it.
I just saw in the comments, there are two wolves inside you. Sorry for the transporter accident. Okay, well, with that, thank you all so much for watching. This has been a Candela Obscura assignment from Illuminated Worlds. I am Anya. You can find me everywhere at Lalion Cosplay. I am also a pro GM on Start Playing Games. I am Lalion there. No cosplay because I don't cosplay when I GM unless it's on stream sometimes. Let's do the same round. So Krifu, if you'll go next.
Hi everyone, I am Krifu. I was playing Shay today. I am a organizer here at Horde of Tales and the showrunner for the EU Happy Hour. Thank you so much for participating in the finale of the first season of EU Happy Hour here at Horde of Tales. It was a really good one. And keep a eye out. So follow Horde of Tales on socials. And ooh, uh, the next game, there's going to be a stream next week, I think, on the 22nd. Maybe there might be something on the 22nd next week, so you should follow our socials to maybe see if something will happen. That's not professional, but it's literally halfway through December, and nothing happens in the last 2 weeks of the year. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, then Sam.
Hello, yeah, my name is Sam. I was playing Edward Steele this evening. It's been an absolute delight to be part of this and to learn this new system. And just thank you so much to the organisers for Horde of Tales for having me here and for Anya for running it. I can be found everywhere as Sam Size across the internet. I also play and organise alongside the folks at Science and Sorcery, where we bring science into our TTRPGs. So if you want to find out more about that, you can go find us there. But yeah, once again, thank you so much. This has been a blast.
Yep. And last but not least, Michael.
Hey everyone, I'm Michał Król. I've been playing the great Casimir. I'm a game designer by trade. I do voice acting after hours as well, so you can find me at Krulski with an I at the end for the voice acting stuff, or to chat about game design or game dev in general. This was my debut in the Horde of Tales. Hopefully, more maybe to come in the future. But also first time playing Candela Obscura. Loved it and hope everyone enjoyed it.
Yeah. Oh, and I will say, I am writing this plus the prequel to this up as a module that I will be posting on my Drive-Through RPG account. So if you want to run it for your own circle, you can. That should be coming up soon because I have the formatting completely finished. I just need to add a few things. So yeah. Well, with that, it has been an absolutely wonderful happy hour hanging out with y'all. I hope that you have a good weekend and we will see you. Bye.
Bye bye.